Hey, how you doing? I'm Robert Renman from Master Guitar Academy. Today, I'm going to show you a fun way to use double stops as a rhythmic device over a blues. I recently published a video on how to play double stops with your picking hand. Take a look at that lesson if you haven't seen it. What I want to do today is to show you practical double stop riffs that we can use as different flavors in a blues solo. These types of riffs are a great way to have more variation in your solos. For example, maybe you play some pentatonic licks for a while, and maybe, just maybe, you run out of good pentatonic ideas, right? So, what do? Well, using double stops can be a very cool way to break up your solo. In fact, many times it sounds killer to start a solo with something along the lines of what I'm showing you today. At the same time, you could do the opposite, play your pentatonic licks first, and then end the solo with double stops like these. Now, most of all, what I hope you will learn from this video is that double stops are a different set of tools and scales and pentatonic blues licks. They are almost chords, and they often function like chords. That's kind of what we're doing here. The notes of the double stops are part of the chords that the band is playing. The other prominent quality in use here is the rhythmic patterns that I used with these double stops. That's really powerful, right? If I play the same rhythmic patterns using just single notes, it won't sound as powerful and it won't have the same effect. Come to think of it, if you close your eyes, you can almost imagine a horn section playing this. That's kind of what we're doing here, playing horn stabs on the guitar. Pretty cool stuff. Now let me be clear, this is just a starting point, because when you get these under your fingers, you can build ideas around them. What I'm teaching you today is sort of in between lead guitar and rhythm guitar. It can actually be either, depending on what's going on in the tune. And I think it's a great way to break out of the pentatonic trap, if you will. You know, a number of students have actually asked me how to break out of the pentatonic boxes and come up with other ideas. The answer is not to learn all the 7 modes. And why do I say that? Because it's not going to help you when you play the blues. It's not the sound of the blues. So instead, we can use double stops as a different flavor or ingredient. We add them to solos to create more variation and to make it more interesting for the listener. I think this is a great rhythmic exercise as well. As you will see, the rhythms are not exactly the same for these riffs. I purposely did it that way to make it more interesting to listen to and to make it more of a challenge for you to play. Now, can you do me a favor? As you work on this, can you tell me how long it took you to learn the whole thing? I'm very curious to find out how easy it was for you. Just add a comment below. Now, I need to stress that rhythm is everything here. If you mess up or forget the rhythmic pattern, it simply falls apart. Now, if you have trouble memorizing, I do have a solution for you. And I will tell you the secret in my next video. Now please, subscribe to this channel so you don't miss my next video. You can get the tablature and the backing track by joining my YouTube channel membership. Click the join button below. You can then grab the lesson files under the community tab. Now go grab that guitar and let's take a closer look. All right, so this is a blues in D, as in David. So the 1 chord is D7. The 4 chord is G7. And the 5 chord is A7. And by the way, these chord grips are good to know. Really simple. Kind of looks like a triangle. So, we're going to start with these pickup notes. And then we hit. And that's the main part of this whole riff. But you got to know how to count this. So, let's take a closer look. Those are the pickup notes. So I'm on the B string and the E string. And this is how you count it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So in order for this to work, we have to start on the 2 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. All right? One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So after we play these pickup notes, we're going to play the devil's interval. And this is actually a flat 5 interval, or sharp 4, same thing. I'm playing on the B string and on the E string. I think the name comes from a long time ago in the Middle Ages. They called this the devil's interval, and it was not a good thing to play. But I think it's cool, and it works well here. So I hit these 2 notes, and this comes on beat 1, by the way. And then I shake the strings a little bit. It can be a bit tricky, but use the palm of your hand to mute the other strings. See, now they're muted. And then I shake the strings a little bit like this. Kind of a pivot point I have here. The whole guitar moves a little bit. That's okay. So let's count it out. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Next, we're going to play on the 2 and. I'm doing a quick upstroke, staccato like that. And that comes on 2 and. So then we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Next, we're going to play these 2 double stops, also staccato, and they come on 4 and 1. So now on the G string and the B string, I'm just barring. And this is almost like playing G major and F major. That follows the chord progression. For right now, the band is on the 4 chord, G. That sounds cool. So let's count what we have so far. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Next, we're going to play almost the same thing as we just did, except the pickup notes are different, and so are the double stops at the end. So now it sounds like this. So now we're starting on beat 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. A little faster. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Then the double stops are simply, they also come on the 4 and the 1. So all together, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So now I'm playing. So G string and B strings. Staccato like that. So very similar to the first one. On the first one we ended with, and on the second one we end with. All right? One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. All right, so now the way I look at this is that we have played this main idea twice. The first time, second time. So now we just repeat what we've done so far. The first time we play it, it's going to be played exactly the same the third time. And what we did for the second time, we're going to do exactly the same thing for the fourth time. So we can also put it this way: riff 1 and 2 has been repeated as 3 and 4. So now we're going into the 5 chord, and the pickup notes are the same as in riff 2 and 4. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then we play. This is part of an A major triad actually. This is a double stop up here. B string and E string. So if you look at the A major triad, it's right there. We just remove the root note A on the G string, and then we get, and I play chromatically down to the G version. So we count it this way: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Now one more thing. I hit this double stop on the 4 at the end. So after these, right there. So then we get this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now the last thing we do in this 12-bar progression is to play this. But we have to know how to count it. So this is how we do that. The first one comes on 2, and these come on 3 and this one comes on 4 and. Then we get this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So count with me: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that's it. That's the whole thing right there. All right, thanks guys. That's all for today. Remember, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Take care, my friend, and I hope to see you next time.